Hey guys, Tarke here, and in 3.12 I'm going to experiment with some written guides. So I've made like a template that I'm going to follow, and I want your input on everything in here, because if you think of anything that should be added or removed, please let me know. So what is the plan? What is my goal? So my goal is to make a template of must-have information for a 3.12 SSF-friendly caustic arrow guide. I'm going to restart a fresh SSF run in the next few days and make detailed progression notes all the way to Awaken 8. Then I'll tidy up the notes into a full written guide for 3.12 launch. What I want the guide to do is basically have all the information required for a relatively new, basically a complete beginner, to be able to clear up to the endgame comfortably and with minimal confusion. So what will be in the guide itself? Intro. A why caustic arrow breakdown. So I'll basically cover all things why I think it's a good skill for people to learn Path of Exile with. A short about the author. I play at every league pretty much. Skill tree, so I'll talk about some Ascendancy options, breakdowns, comparisons, because there's lots of different Ascendancy choices you can take with caustic arrow, tree progression for leveling, early maps and endgame, gems, have a alternate leveling gem setup based on gear limitations and class choices, because some classes don't get access to all the support gems you need, so that'll be basically like your leveling setup and then what to work around. The endgame gen setup, flex options, auras, different wither applications, Val skills, etc. Gearing section for leveling, getting into maps, early reds, endgame. Flask options, a list of notable uniques. I'm going to have to have a section on why I hate Witchfire Brew, because I hate that flask. Anoint, budget, and endgame options, lab enchants. A what to pick up section, something that I think would be really helpful, but that I don't see many other people do it, so let me know if you think this would be helpful or not. A basic filter guide, so what to actually have on your filter if you want to play this build. What to look for while leveling, maps, and then when to remove things from your filter, notable and div cards and prophecies for the build, and then a little section on how to get Enlighten and Power in SSF, because both of those are quite notable for caustic arrow. A crafting guide for the key slots, so that would be bow, quiver, gloves, amulet. And then a brief boss thing. This, I think, is probably the most cuttable section, but maybe just like a brief kind of like boss strategy with caustic arrow and like what to do on certain bosses. Because some people often complain, like, how do you boss on dot builds, when I think they're the easiest builds to boss on, so maybe that might just be like a people trying to face tank on a dot build and not understanding why it's not working for them. And then going to extra stuff, so what to look for cluster jewels, timeless jewel mods, thread of hope spots, some quality of life optional notables, and then a little thing on the atlas, not like an atlas guide, but kind of like hero layouts that you can look for, hero layouts you might want to avoid for caustic arrow. And then I'll have like an FAQ at the end. Well, one thing I do want your input on, I do want to give a breakdown of loads of different Ascendancy breakdowns, and like why to go for certain things. The skill trees are going to be fairly static, so I'm not going to be like, here is a life version, here is a hybrid option, here is a CI version. This will be like, this is the acro phase acro tree, and I will base all of the options around that. I'll be like, this will be the ultimate version of this, because if I go for like every single one, then it's way too many options, and then if you like flood people with too much information, then anyone who's relatively newish to Path of Exile, they'll just get like paralysis, choice paralysis. So to give a basic example of what it would kind of look like, so if this was the Trickster tree, it would look like that, Pathfinder tree would look like that, Champion tree would look like that, Occultist tree would look like that, and those would be the main ascendancies I'd be talking about. I was thinking about having like a core tree. I don't want to add cluster jewel trees, because there are so many different ways you could do cluster jewels, but I think having just like a core tree, so like if you want to experiment, like if you have this as the base template, you can then spend the extra like 40 points on where you want to go. If you have this, you'll be mostly okay. And then I was going to have like a thread of hope / timeless jewel section. And the way I'll probably do this is I'll just like take screenshots of like, here are good thread of hope spots, here are good thread of hope spots, here are good, here are good timeless jewel spots, here are good thread of hope spots, and yeah, because there are 2 very good thread of hope spots, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 notable timeless jewel spots. And I'm hoping that through covering all of that, that should be everything you should ever need to make this build. If there's anything that you think is missing, let me know. If you think there's anything in here which is like, yeah, that's cool information, Tarke, but like, you don't need that, that's complete overkill, also let me know. I will see how long this takes me to do, because I just want to make one very well-made written guide. I may not get I might only make the one written guide for 3.12. If I manage to get through all of this, and I've still got loads of time left, and it's received well, I might do multiple. But I'm thinking I might just go for, like, this as my 3.12 fully fledged written guide, and I'll obviously still do my usual kind of, like, here are some builds I'd recommend. And then maybe I would make a couple more of these throughout the league. But yes, I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Let me know what you think of this idea. By the way, also, my cat is melted on the bed because it's really hot in the UK at the moment. Bye-bye.